All right, everyone, welcome back. And my co-host once again is Julie. How are you, Julie?
Hi, good morning, Felix. How are you?
All right, fine. Thank you. For those of you guys are watching, we have a lot of great content to share. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this. This
Mhm.
source come from John Burns Consulting, which is they are very credible housing market research organizations. They use some great data. So without further ado, the headline is what happens to housing markets after a hurricane? Yeah, because there are a couple of reasons why we're doing this type of the contents because
Yeah.
uh, is uh, is in front of everybody's mind. So let's go ahead and dive deep into it for a few minutes. So authorities are still determining the extent of the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene, and you might as well include the Hurricane Milton, which has happened very recently. So the storm's path reached from Fort Myers, Florida, north to the Carolinas, St.
Mhm.
Petersburg, Florida, and Asheville, North Carolina, were significantly impacted by flooding and damage caused by the storm's violent wind and rain.
Mhm.
The widespread upheaval will affect the housing and rental markets in Florida and across the Southeast. We highlight major real estate impacts using Tampa, Florida as an example. Okay.
Okay.
So, further, this article states that the flooded and damaged homes typically becomes unlivable. Okay.
Right.
Forcing most residents to move into rental housing while
Mhm.
they wait for repairs. Following Hurricane Ian in 2022, occupancy rate in Fort Myers increased from 95.2% to 98.2% as many residents used temporary housing assistance to rent. Now, let's dive deeper. My takeaway from this paragraph, my biggest takeaway, because Julie, you and I are investors, right? And well,
Right.
first of all, we are all feel the devastation impact with the loss of lives from
Absolutely.
hurricanes, and we pray for those people that can come out of this. And there's a lot of people are impacted. A lot of people have lost their homes. A lot of people are displaced. So we hope we as a United States, as a community, can
Mhm.
come together, right? And everybody contribute in whatever way they can. Get the federal government, the local communities, and people like us. We need to find a way to chip in. What are your
Right.
thoughts on that?
Oh, no, I think you're absolutely right. So interesting. I guess because where we live in California, we don't really get weather. I think the worst thing we get is an earthquake, which can be very damaging, but you don't really think that does have an impact on the rental housing market. So that's very interesting information.
Yeah, so my takeaway is we can discuss more about this on the other modules, but the coastal areas in all the social media, they depict the video graphic shows how houses been blown away, all the
Right.
devastation all along the coastal areas of Florida and other areas of the country. Yeah, on the one hand, the media they love to blow things out of proportion. They only focus on getting views, right? The culprit is not only the mainstream media, not only CNBC or the major news channels from all over the country reporting widespread devastation. It is very widespread. Also, the YouTubers, the crash bros, the doomers, they depict just the skies falling, entire state of Florida is falling into the ocean or whatever. It's not as bad if you dive deeper because you and I, myself, I've been investing in Florida for the past 20 years. And uh,
Right.
over the
Right.
years, I purchased many rental properties in Florida, and I still have properties in Florida to this day. So a lot of people that are being displaced right now as we speak. They will find temporary residence, and once they file the insurance claims, most of them will get some temporary housing somewhere, and the insurance company will pay for their rent.
Very good.
So, as myself as a landlord and hundreds of our investors who have purchased rental properties in Florida and elsewhere in the country, we take additional urgency and in priority in if our to taking some of those displaced people into our homes so they could rent out, and the insurance company gonna pay for them for the most
Right.
part. Hopefully they're gonna be rented for 2 or 3 or 4 months, right? As landlord, this is an additional obligation that we have. And then hopefully when those houses gets rebuilt, when the recovery and the reconstruction of those homes it'll take some time. Those displaced homeowners will find a place to live. So what are your thoughts on you are a landlord also? You have 6 rental properties in upstate New York. That's fine. But if you were a landlord in Florida, what additional priorities and responsibilities and what have you to how to help out the local community for those people who are displaced? How would you feel about it?
Yeah, interesting. I think you do, as an owner, have a certain obligation to the community and working with the insurance companies, working with the whoever's out there trying to help out, FEMA, or even making your property available to help some of these displaced people. Because as I said, in California, we never really think about that. We have had big earthquakes where there's been housing damage, but most times people are not displaced out of their homes. So
Right.
there is definitely a need, and I think a responsibility to investors that do own property in areas like that.
Exactly. By the way, furthermore, all the rental properties that I purchased and hundreds of our investors purchased in Florida for the past 20 years, we purchased in inland locations, not along the coastal areas. Because
Right.
coastal areas in Florida, up and down Atlantic coast and the Gulf Coast and the Western
Right.
Florida, those coastal homes, we're talking multi-million dollar homes. Many of homes are 1 million, 2 million, $3 million. Those are not our investment methodology, as you well know.
Right. Right.
Although there are a lot of those homes along the coastal areas that were impacted by the hurricanes, they are, especially we see the devastation. Those homes are built more than 35 years ago. Those homes are neither trailer parks or mobile homes or a home that are built that the builder at that time, years ago, did not take into consideration the safety standard, the insurance standards. So unfortunately, those are homes that are the mostly impacted by the hurricane. So
Right.
hopefully those homeowners, when they are displaced, hopefully the insurance money will pay their costs, and so they can rebuild their lives either in a similar area. Most likely they can move away to somewhere else. Maybe those displaced workers, after they get the insurance money after they live in a rental home for a few months, maybe they
Right.
move to another location in Florida or move out of state.
Yes.
While the homes that are recently built along the coastal areas, the multi-million dollar homes, I don't feel bad for the landlords because they have the money to stay put. And
Right.
in fact, like 1/4, 25% of all the homes that were sold in Florida recently, the last 2 years, they were cash buyers. A lot of those landlords that have very well-built homes, especially homes that in the coastal areas, and the hurricane went through the coastal areas where their homes are located, those homes were not affected.
Right.
Those homes suffer very little damage. But yeah, we don't have time to talk about insurance premiums and all that. Yes, it's skyrocketing in not only in Florida, but in many other
Right.
weather-related challenging areas of the country. But
Absolutely.
a lot of those wealthy landlords, they can self-insure. They don't even need insurance
Right.
because they bought the house all cash.
Yes. Yes.
They have the money to self-insure. They're not going anywhere. So don't
I
feel
see.
bad.
Yes.
You know what? I wouldn't feel bad to those wealthy landlords along the coastal markets because that is their vacation homes. They use their high price home for short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, or even long-term rentals. So they have the financial means to recover quickly and then
Right.
be affected. But the lower demographics, the people living on a tight budget, right? The elderlies impacted along the coastal areas of Florida, but they will be much more impacted. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Oh, I agree with you 100%. Yes. Yeah. Again, something that we generally don't think about out here in California, but yeah, that is plays a huge effect on just the displacing of the family and how difficult that could be. So yeah, there are places relatively local, owned by investors that can accommodate. It's definitely something, as I said, we should have a responsibility to do that.
Yep. Yep. Furthermore, my takeaway from this situation is that Luckily, my investment properties that I purchased in Florida over the years are located inland, further away from the hurricane.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
brand new construction. It's not in a flood zone. It's on a higher elevation, and we paying the very low insurance costs.
Mhm.
The last time I checked, my
Mhm.
properties and the properties that my investors that purchased in the past few years in Florida,
Right.
the strategic location that we buy those affordable homes,
Right.
they're not impacted by the hurricane. By a hurricane,
Oh, that's excellent.
they're not impacted by Hurricane Ian. They're not impacted. We are not impacted by Hurricane Helene, and we are
Right.
not impacted by Hurricane Milton because the location that we're in Florida, that our builders have selling the homes to our investors, that we are located in Central Florida, in Ocala, in Citrus Springs, in the suburbs, and even in Jacksonville, we have escaped all those damage in Palm Coast, in Atlanta, northeastern Atlantic coast, and
Right.
the only slight cosmetic damage that occurred within our new construction homes for myself and our investors recently are in the Southwest Florida, Cape Coral and Punta
Mhm.
Gorda and Port
Okay.
Charlotte, and so Southwest Florida has been hit quite hard along the
Right.
Gulf Coast and Tampa and Sarasota, Siesta Key, right? The major damage on the coastal areas. But even our rental homes located in Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, and they were not affected by any of these hurricanes.
Oh, wonderful.
Not even everything stood up because
Right.
those newer homes, they are built for safety specifications.
Mhm.
It can withstand 100 mile per hour wind,
Mhm.
storm,
Mhm.
these kind of things. As a result, though, yeah, some areas of the Southwest Florida, our homes, the insurance cost has increased, but I would not say skyrocketed.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, one of my rental property in Central Florida in Ocala, I think my monthly insurance premium is only around $50. It's not increased. Again, insurance company understand that if your homes are located in an inland, more in a central area, away from the coastal areas, low affordability, new construction, they love us. The insurance company gave us a very low rate. So
Right.
that has not impacted us. Just so you know.
That's good. Something good to be aware of in terms of somebody, a potential like myself, a potential investor. I think what you're saying is even though they do have weather conditions, we shouldn't shy away from that as a possible area to invest in. Because it sounds like it's a very good place to afford it, to invest. And even like you said, the insurance costs are not nearly as high as we may think.
That's right. Yeah, we have to really just understand that it's not all doom and gloom, and it's not like that. The media, they portray everything in very negative ways. We all know
Right.
because
Mhm.
negative news sells, and all the videos, YouTube videos, all the houses being devastated. That's only along the beach areas of Southwest Florida and Tampa, St. Petersburg, and few
Mhm.
other places in other locations in North Carolina, wherever.
Mhm.
Right. So let's finish up on this particular article. It is still early, but we expect storm savaged markets in the southeast to experience a surge in rental demand. So, as an investor, Julie and myself, I know you do not own any rentals in Florida, but hundreds of my investors have purchased in all over in inland of Florida. When you see this word, a surge in rental demand, so what does it mean to you?
Well, yeah, there's obviously going to be an increase in that demand for rental properties because, as we stated earlier, once people are displaced, they still need someplace to live. The houses might be gone, but they're still there, prayerfully, and they do need someplace to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely, like I said, it's an opportunity for people that already have property, or those that are interested in investing. Like I said, don't shy away from that potential rental investment that you might want to purchase.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's one more paragraph I like from this article, and here it is. It talk about inland migration. So what does it mean? So let's go over the words. According to John Burns Consulting, again, this research company, he says we saw an increase in demand for new housing in inland locations after Hurricane Ian and even Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, which is very sad. We expect the same will occur now. However, inland migration was already happening in the West Coast, Tampa, and the surrounding areas. And residents in the coastal areas it will need more affordable housing. Over the last 12 months and in a foreseeable future, Lakeland, which is located in Central Florida, which is in 1 hour east of Tampa Metro, was top in migration destination from the Tampa MSA. But I will mention that only Lakeland, but Ocala and other Central Florida areas that the city that I just mentioned now, and Citrus Springs and a few other places that we have our builders are building built to rent homes for our investors. They're going to be the recipient of the inland migration because when those displaced people, they are sick and tired of all those hurricanes or living in coastal areas, especially the lower demographics of Florida locals. Eventually, they can do a re-migration into inland Florida. Like in Florida, still have all this great quality of life. And that's the reason why Florida has been the fastest growing state in the country for a number of years now, right? So, yeah, that's my takeaway from that. So the migration will put more people into the inland areas such as Central Florida, in which our investors have boots on the ground, if you will. And our builder that we work with, they're still building more lots and more because they see the influx of migration, population, job growth into the inland areas of Florida, away from the coastal areas, much more affordable homes, investors cash flow. I think they can find additional source of renters other than regular renters that we've been getting, but we're going to see for the foreseeable future more displaced owners that have to live somewhere temporarily. We can accommodate them as tenants as well. So yeah,
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think again, it's a good sign that those builders that you've been working with in the Central Florida area are still building. So they're not shying away from doing new construction. So again, that presents a still another opportunity for investors and to be able to accommodate some of these people that are being displaced.
Not only that, we're not going to have time to talk about the next few paragraph, but on our future videos upcoming, you and I will discuss more about it. But here are some of the additional challenges that will be facing Florida. It says right here, repair and remodel. We estimate that $36 billion for Hurricane Ian related residential remodels and repairs over the next 4 years or more. And not just, look, this article is a little bit behind Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton.
Right.
Last three hurricanes will exceed $36 billion of repairs and remodeling. And then with that, with the repair, remodeling, recovery of Florida as a result of these weather conditions areas, and it'll put pressure on the cost of labor. Construction workers, cost of labor and materials is gonna increase of rebuilding Florida. So guess what? We saw back in 2020 and 2021 when there's a lack of materials, when a labor is at a weak point, the new construction, as a result, it costs more to build. So new construction homes in affordable areas will increase as a result of this additional challenges that we have with the recovery of Florida. Now, furthermore, Hurricane Helene was one of the largest hurricanes to hit the U.S. with tropical storm force wind felt more than 450 miles from the storm's center.
Right.
The damage to homes, infrastructure, and buildings will be significant, and the cleanup process lengthy. We're talking years of cleanup, years of constructing, years of building, and all that. So the whole infrastructure of Florida will transform itself. So as a result, the residents of Florida and the Southeast, not only Florida, Southeast, a few other areas of Southeast as well, are resilient. They will clean, rebuild, and recover. See, or clean,
Mm.
rebuild, and recover. What does it mean? This region will continue to attract people who appreciate the quality of life, the relatively low cost of living, and the great weather most of the time.
Most of the time. They are the East Coast of California because they got the beaches and the sand and the life and everything. But yeah, that is one of the challenges of living out there is the weather.
Look, Julie, I'm not painting all the roses. Everything is going to be perfect around Florida currently or in the future because it's very sad to see people losing their lives and people being displaced out of their homes.
Absolutely.
That is very, very tragic events, right? And we're not going to sugarcoat that, right?
Yeah,
And
sure.
as you and I presenting this video, some people watching, they may have a very different of opinion from what what you and I just related. Look, we're not here to please everybody. We look in all the facts, right? I mean,
Right.
we're not being so emotional, right? We're looking from a high level. Some people may disagree with us. Some people say, "Oh, we will never want to live in Florida anymore." Yeah, all the issues, challenges. Well, it's too risky. It's too whatever. Whether they are prospective homeowners or investors, we can have a group of people going to have a very different type of opinions than what you and I share. But
Right.
I'm trying to be positive. There's a silver lining among all of this, right? And Americans are very resilient. And so I think I always have positive thoughts. So my thought and my takeaway from this video is that Florida will rebuild. There will not be a mass exodus, but we're not going to see amazing migration like we have seen several years ago. Then that's not happening. That's clear, right?
Right.
Back to a pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, you have so many people moving to Florida for obvious reasons.
Right.
That will slow down. We get all that, but Florida is not going to go away. All the reasons we just mentioned. So we all need to get together and rebuild the whole community of Florida. Rebuild the infrastructure. So everybody need to get involved. They need to be proactive, and
Yes.
things good going to come out of it. And insurance is a whole different topic. We don't have time to talk about that. But things, it's going to get better, I think, for a lot of people.
For sure.
Don't listen to the YouTube crash bros and the doomers out there who's going to say, "Oh, Florida gonna go down the toilet. About 50% reduction of housing prices. This and that. Move away." All those clickbait. I call it housing fear porn out there.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
So I'll try to report misleading, inaccurate, and doom and gloom videos, which is not going to help the society that way. What's your final thought?
It's really good to know since the two hurricanes are so present in people's minds right now. And just really understanding how that does affect different parts of the country, how weather does affect it, and that there is still opportunity and not just an opportunity for investors, not just to make money, but an opportunity to give back and share that responsibility in helping out.
I totally agree. As I conclude for you guys out there, if you see any value whatsoever from this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also put your email into my website so you can become a free member of our investment network. So you receive real estate investing information, housing market updates, and free into your email newsletter every single morning. So Julie, thank you very much.
Thank you. Then good information.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.